channel. It's me, Jenisha Stanley again, and today I'm going to review the book If You Were Me and Lived in the American West. This book was written by Carole and illustrated by Paula Tabor. This book has 50 pages and no chapters. Well, where is the American West? Well, the American West is the western part of the United States. And this book is trying to make you imagine that you were in the story. In the early 1840s, there has been record flooding on the East Coast, making farming unproductive. Food and money were scarce. So your family needed to relocate another location so they can make a farm. So you were a 12-year-old boy. Your parents left everything they knew in Ohio and went on the Great Migration of 1843. It's because there were lots of people, kind of like migrating birds. But you decided to call it the wagon train of 1843 because it sounded better. So the wagons kind of look like cars of a train. See, this is the wagon you rode in. Everyone's going to be getting in. Your father sold his farm and almost all of his furniture, and then with the remaining money, he bought a covered wagon, and then he purchased 2 oxen. And then your mom packed the wagon with barrels of supplies, more than 300 pounds of food, including her sewing kit, medicine, and a few other materials. You had to travel 2,000 miles from the east all the way to the west, and you had to go by walking or by sitting in the wagon. It's going to be a long trip whenever they went there, but a question is, where will they sleep? So before bed, the wagons got in a big circle for safety and protection, and then you and your sister went out to play. And with all the other children, after chores were done, that is, if your chores weren't done, you would have to stay inside and work while the other children got out and could play. Then, at bedtime, you slept outside the wagon, wrapped in an old quilt. Beside the wheel, you could count hundreds of stars in that starry, starry night. And if you had to describe the trip in one word, it would be mud. When it rained, and it did often enough, and the whole ground turned into a very big mess. And then you learned to put grass in front of the wheels, and then you joined all the other men pushing the wagon, and then the wheels turned on the grass while the oxen pulled the wagons out. And the dust was bad too. Well, what dust? Whenever it doesn't rain, it usually becomes really dusty, and you have to cover your mouth and nose with a bandana so you won't breathe in all that dirt and sand. And guess what? We're still doing that today. A coronavirus mask to prevent COVID-19. You met people along the way that you called Indians. They came from a vast number of tribes. You learned that from tribes such as Pawnee, Cheyenne, Shoshone, to name a few, and there are lots more. You heard of stories of great battles and attacks, but you only met friendly ones that only wanted to trade products. So, they traded blankets and pottery with you. Take a look. This Native American man is trying to trade this pot that he made with this man. He is going to trade something. And there's a mom and baby next to them. And then the sanitation was not planned out very well, and many settlers died along the trip. And there was a cholera outbreak, so many people got sick and got the stomach ailment, and some were so sick that they couldn't ever continue the trip, and others died. And then once you found your new home, you were granted 640 acres of free land. All you had to do was farm it. And then you cleared the land using the oxen to drag the plow and make long furrows in the rich soil. And also, your mother planted a kitchen garden with peas, carrots, beets, spinach, and potatoes. Every day you milked the cow and chopped wood for the fireplace. Your sister fed the chickens and helped your mother spin wool for clothes. Soon after, a few months later, a schoolhouse developed and you were devastated that you had to go there in the winter. So, Miss Evans, the teacher, taught all 14 children. And then you ended up finding that history was really interesting. And then, nearby the schoolhouse, a town close by formed. And there was a saloon, a church, and lots of other buildings. The church was so you could go on every Sunday, and whenever you always walked into the town, you could hear cowboys singing and having fun. And then on your birthday, you got a surprise. You got your very own horse and saddle, and you had a few rules. Never wave at a man whenever you are on a horse. Just nod. Always give a nice greeting by saying howdy. Always help another person in need. And lastly, never put on another man's hat. Everyone, go and read this wonderful book to learn more about the American West, the people and the way of living in the Great Migration of 1843. Friends, thanks for watching my videos. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel to stay tuned in on my new videos. I'll fly over to my next video. See you there.